Situationship, best described by Urban Dictionary as a relationship that has no label on it. Like a friendship, but more than a friendship, but not quite a relationship. Hello there everybody, my name is Jerm and you are tuned into Kinetic Aesthetic, and today's episode is going to be all about situationships. I have been sort of motivated to make this video for a while now, just sort of talk about how people end up in situationships and explain what they are according to my perspective, and just try to provide a little more insight, because I feel like situationships are on the rise amongst us today, especially amongst younger people, because it feels like more and more we're gearing away towards real relationships and actually being with someone. It's more just who are you with right now that's going to make you feel good in that moment. We're more short term instead of long term, more fleeting moments instead of actually creating lasting memories. But that's just me. So I just wanted to make this episode talk about situationships, explain them, sort of go over a little story I have about what I went through when I was in a situationship, and just try to talk about where I think that's going to lead us to as a society more in the future. So once again, my name is Jerm. You are tuned into Kinetic Aesthetic, and let's start and dive in on these situationships. For starters, it's important to realize that friends with benefits and situationships are completely different. I know some of you might have heard me just use the word situationship and you're just like, isn't that basically what a friends with benefit is? And I'm just going to tell you, it's not. They are both different. They're both their own thing. When you're with a friends with benefits, for starters, that's usually something that's more defined. You've talked with the person, you both understand you don't want to really gain any feelings for each other, and you're just going to keep it. You're just going to stick to vibing. Situationships, completely different. There's no real discussion. They just happen. Next thing you know, all right, damn, I'm in a situation with this person. You don't really go out seeking that. In a friends with benefits, it's usually focused on the physical. Y'all are Netflix and chilling, having sex, or just doing all that type of thing. In a situationship, it's not just limited to that. Now, of course, there is a lot of physical stuff a lot of times, and you can end up with that person on that type of level. A situationship isn't exclusive to that, though. It can be really emotional. You can end up getting into some real mental, physical, just spiritual connection with each other that you didn't intend on having there. And that's what makes them sort of more volatile and more dangerous to sort of try to even get into, because you're playing with fire when you start getting in deep emotionally with someone and you're really not trying to commit to them. But yeah, in essence, a situationship is just something that's formed at a chance. You don't really have any plans for it. You don't wake up saying, I'm gonna just get in a situation with somebody. That's all it's gonna be. Like, it's an entanglement. I think that might be another good word for it. Jada, shout out to Jada for that one. But yeah, situationships, like I said, often at a chance. You're not really planning, and because of that, it can end up really just dangerous, because you're playing games usually with only one person that's in the equation. Sometimes it is both, but usually it's only one person that's really trying to make it work, to make something happen, to get it to progress into something. And that can just be shitty, because I think we've all been involved in a situationship before, or at least most of us have. If you've ever been with somebody where you were confused a lot of times when it came to them or the situation, if there was no consistency, or if you both just clearly never defined anything, that counts as a situationship. When you are when you're dealing with someone on that level and you really don't have any type of idea on what you're actually doing, it's a situationship, and there's nothing wrong with it. We're all gonna be in one, or we have been in one, and they're important because they can be good, because they allow you to just have fun or to really get close to someone without having to worry about the future too much. But if you're someone that values those connections and values getting to know someone and not just having it be wasted, situationships are something you definitely want to avoid, because they can do a lot of harm. And those aren't the only signs, though. When it comes to a situationship, there are other ones. The only thing I can tell you for certain is that a situationship is something that's going to require real communication, You're gonna have to be on point with that. You're not gonna be able to just get by with secrets or just keeping shit close to the vest, because you're just playing around. You're playing a game, and you're playing a dangerous game because you're toying with other people's emotions. And it's just a friends with benefits situation. You're both going in there, you both know what it is, and you both are actively trying to avoid feeling like a couple, because that's not what you want to be. In a situationship, you're literally it feels like you're doing the opposite of what I just said. You're acting like a couple, but you don't want to commit at all. Like, you're going on dates constantly, you're doing all this shit that you would only do if you were boyfriend and girlfriend, really. Just taking each other's, like, okay, if a woman is taking your sweaters and just doing all this shit, like she's taking your clothes, she's coming to pick you up, you're both making plans, you're literally going out of your way to make time for one another, but you're not giving each other the title or committing, that's a situationship. And as good as it can feel in the moment, because you don't have any real obligation or commitment to the other person, you're doing more harm than good in the long run, because eventually you're not going to be able to maintain that. And the thing about it is, you'll get to the point where you're not able to maintain it, but you've got all these emotions and feelings just put in there and invested to the point where it's just real sticky. Situationships are dangerous not because of how they start, but because of how they usually can end. They usually end with hurt feelings and people just not liking each other. I know, because I was recently involved in one. Well, not recently, I guess it's been about a year or two since. And I that's sort of what inspired me to make this episode. Situationships are something that'll leave you feeling confused for a long time. Personally, I still don't know exactly what it was that was going on with this person. I don't know. I don't know too much. I feel like I opened up to somebody like an open fucking book, told somebody my entire life story, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I know a damn thing about the other person. And that is why I'm sort of inspired to make this episode, to just sort of tell this story, because if you have an open heart, or you can be gullible, or you can just sort of be naive when it comes to people's true intentions, you can end up finding yourself in a situation that's really toxic and not good for you. So I wanted to make this episode to sort of give those people some insight, help them avoid ending up in the same boat that I did, because you can lose yourself trying to be in a situationship with somebody where you want to make things work so bad, but you can never get things past go. And you'll be wondering, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not good enough? When in reality, it's not necessarily about you, it's about the other person. But you're not able to understand that in time, because once you get so deep into a situationship, you can see shit for what it is. But, and this might have just been me, you can want to try to ignore it as best as you can, to sort of find a way to just make it all work. And I'm just here to tell you right now, you'll never be able to make it all work in a situationship unless you have two equal sides who both are coming together, who are both trying to make it work. And 9 times out of 10 in a situationship, you don't have that. So once again, that's why I wanted to tell this story. I just wanted to try to help other people out, because I'm telling you, the shit ain't fun. And once you sort of are able to look back on a situation and see it for what it is, it can be really shitty to realize just what that situation entailed, and how much shit that you wouldn't let slide in a regular relationship you were just allowing. So I just want to try to help people with that, let y'all know about that. But without further ado, I'm gonna just get into the story, let y'all hear about this, and I'm gonna sort of let y'all know from my perspective exactly how it is to be in a situationship. Okay, everybody, this is my story with situationships. My personal story started back in 2018. This was back at my old job before I was doing what I'm doing now. I had been there for just a couple months. I had gotten the hang of it, had pretty much figured out who everybody was, and In comes this new girl, she was beautiful, but but it was a job there were a lot of girls there, so it wasn't like, and not to take anything away from her, but it wasn't like it was anything that I thought I was gonna be head over heels or stuck on. And so she worked in a department next to me. She was actually a cashier at first, and I was always around talking to cashiers, and she was a friendly person, so we sort of in a way naturally gravitated towards each other, and we just started talking more and more. And like I said again, I really didn't think that it was going to turn into what it did, but it was a natural thing. It was innocent. We started off as friends. I really did start off just, okay, I don't think I have anything there, but I'm going to try to just, talk to her, be her friend. And soon enough, just talking to the girl and meeting her, and we're going to call her Boo Boo. That's what we're going to call her, just for all intents and purposes. And so eventually talking to Boo Boo, we hit it off. Like it was just cool. It was a natural chemistry there. It didn't have to mean anything more than what it was, but there was chemistry. Like there was two people that played off each other very well. Just if you get what I'm saying. And at the time, I had sort of inferred, it was never like we talked about that type of stuff, but no. I had pretty much peeped, okay, she has a boyfriend, so I'm not doing anything like that. Like I said again, even as the feelings developed, I knew, okay, this is someone who has a situation. I can't do that. And so we just continued on as friends. We get closer and closer. I mean, I really can't even tell you what the first interaction was like. I can't tell you even the first day I saw her or met her. I can just tell you that somehow, one way or another, you're talking to somebody every day. You see them at work all the time, and you both are just buddy, and eventually y'all just get close. Y'all are close inside where you work and outside, and it just became that type of thing. And it was to the point where we hung out on my birthday. We went on a hiking trip. We went hiking up a mountain. It was one of the most amazing special days I've ever had. I'm not gonna cap to you. It was just some day in August, and it was really just a special day, man. Like you realize you don't even think you'll enjoy something, but you enjoy it because sometimes of the situation and who you're with. And that was one of those moments for me. So that was when I knew, okay, this isn't just some small thing. I might really be feeling something here. And I didn't express it at that exact moment. I tried to just be cool for what it was, but eventually, you can't ignore something, so you try to act on it. And I didn't play it in a cool way. I tried to write a little note. I'm still in that mindset at times, sometimes sometimes I really do feel like I'm not good with expressing things at times in a direct manner. So I'll feel better writing it down, putting it on a piece of paper, because I feel like, I can really put it in words or put it on this piece of paper and really give it the gravity of what it deserves. I'm trying to get better at just doing that vocally, but that's a real thing to me. I do believe in that. But I did that. It was one of those things to where, okay, she was under it was under false pretenses. She felt like the whole friendship to a certain degree, and I understood that. So it did put a strain on it, but we tried to be friends and we continued on. Like, it was a thing for a moment, but it was at least tried. We both ignored it, for better or for worse. Probably for worse, we ignored it. And after that, we just had one big falling out, and I don't even remember what that falling out was about. I'm not gonna lie to you all, I don't. I just remember it was like late September, early October or something, and we just stopped talking to each other. Just stopped talking, point blank, period. The only time we really had even a positive interaction, and we were working together the whole time, was when one of I think I texted her just Happy Thanksgiving, and she told me Happy Thanksgiving. That's it over the course of an entire month. So yeah, that was like month and a half actually, probably. So yeah, it just all got weird from a certain point, and we never really recovered from that. December, we get back cool with each other, and so, and I remember I was just minding my business one day, doing my job, actually doing my job, and she just came over and she just wanted to talk to me about something. Me and Boo Boo talked about it. It was just some funny type of message. It was some type of random thing that it felt like it was just an excuse to talk to me. But we talked. She came over. We talked outside in the front of my house. We decided to just try again on being friends. That's the word that was used, but it was really never the same after that. And I'll say this, she did say things are never going to be the same, and I understand what she meant now, but it got to a point where it was too complicated and it was confusing, and it wasn't like I was really doing anything. I can tell y'all that from that point on, for a certain period, I really did think of us as just friends, and I tried to just keep it at just a friend level. But it became increasingly like the lines became blurred. You don't know what's what. It's just like, okay, are we doing all this stuff and then just not gonna give it the label? And if that, like, there's a name for that, but it never became that, and that's in essence why I think of it as a situationship. So after we talk in front of my house and everything, hug, say goodbye. It starts off. I really remember it just as on some friendly shit. I remember the next weird thing that happened was like the next month. We were supposed to hang out one day. It was an important day to me. This is the day of my mother's birthday. It's an important day for me. I always believe in, like, you celebrate the day of the patriarch, of the person who really gets you going. I'm sorry, that's just me. I'm gonna raise my kids to sort of that your grandma's birthday is a holiday. You do it for the grandmas and the fathers and the mothers. And I had just wanted to have a day. I'd like to, normally call off on that day, have that day to myself. And I was gonna make it a day, spend some time with her, maybe go to the mall. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if this is not about like making it a date or anything, this is more about me and then going to get some food. Again, this is not about making it a date. This is literally about me just trying to have a day where I just do something to feel good about the day and celebrate it, and just, feel like I'm living and not in too deep in my own thoughts, because that can easily happen on a day like that for me, and that's some real shit I'm gonna just let y'all live on. But that happened, and we had made the plans. I'm excited for them, and then one day before it, like, this is like the week of it, a week of the day that we're supposed to do all this, we're at work, and she's telling me about whatever story she had going on, or whatever shit she had going on for the month that we weren't talking to each other. Like, just what she was doing with her life. And she's telling me about this experience she had with a dude. And so she gets done telling me about the dude. She says, it was just like this. It was dumb, and it was like weird, and yada yada yada. and we both laugh about it. And I joke and say, well, it's a good thing you didn't go too far with him, in lamest terms. She got really offended. She was like upset that I had said that. She told me to just, she stormed off, told me to just be like, nah, don't even try to talk to me, because I'm really trying to figure out, like, what the fuck did I just say that was that bad? I really didn't understand what I said. And it was awkward. And the next day I tried to call, try to figure out, like, are we still gonna do this? And she's like, no. She's like, she couldn't understand why I said that. She thought I was trying to control her and all this other stuff. And I want y'all to understand, from my perspective, I'm really not understanding, because if you're friends with somebody, you can just talk to them about this type of stuff and it's cool. Like, I have female friends, and if they feel like they want to tell me about their guy stories, I'm not gonna judge them. Like, I'll just sit there and laugh and just be like, damn, at least I'm happy to be getting some insight from a woman on some real shit and how y'all think. And and so this man, I mean, and so this and so she just got so upset about it, and that was just awkward. And she ended up canceling that day. We didn't do anything, and it really did sort of sting me. But that was the start of how up and down and how inconsistent it was, because it was stuff like that where we would just have a fight that would just make us stop talking to each other. It became more and more prevalent. It was like there was something every two or 3 weeks we have a blow up. We don't talk to each other for a couple days, maybe a week or two. We talk again. It's cool. And it just became like, okay, we're doing this like an old married couple. You're taking my clothes when you taking my jackets when you leave and everything. I'm in the car with Boo Boo and her cousin, and her cousin is referring to me as her nigga. So I'm paying attention. Like, I listen. I'm not stupid. I have ears. They're not the biggest ears, but I have ears. And you hear these things, and it's confusing. And so then you have someone telling you, I don't want to be claimed, meaning you don't want anyone to like be to be claiming you or like thinking of you as anything, but you want to claim other people. And I'm not lost on that. I understood what it meant, but it's like it's the disconnect on certain things. And to top it all off, to make it all the more weirder, you look someone dead in the face. I remember this day, y'all. You look someone dead in the face and you tell them, and this is Boo Boo talking to me, I just wish you would submit more. Submit to her, she meant. I have never understood what that meant. Still to this day, I don't get it. I never will. I'm confused by it. I've tried to figure it out, but it's not. It don't really register on my brain what that could have meant. I don't know what she was aiming for and getting out of me in terms of a long-term thing to have in your life. I don't know really what she thought I wanted, but neither of us was on the same page. That's really what I can tell you from all that. And it got toxic. It got real bad to the point where eventually, just one of those fights we had, it just got really bad. And it was just toxic shit said on both sides, and it got to the point where we don't talk to each other anymore, so I can't even really there's no contact. So it just became it's just a story of a situation where, number one, avoid fucking around and shitting where you sleep. Don't mess with your coworkers and stuff, man. It ain't worth it.
just play it cool at your job. Especially like unless it's like literally mutual and you both know I don't even really want to do that, don't do it. And just be direct with your communication, because when you're not, and you allow, when you try to play it both ways, it doesn't work. And like, people aren't stupid. They're gonna know when they're being played, even if it's like secondhand, or if it's their second sense or their sixth sense in it. So you just gotta be respectful. It's not, you can't allow your relationships to be toxic. I can honestly tell you, I personally should have done a better job of knowing when to just back away, especially knowing that I was just trying to fight for something that wasn't really doing me any good. But yeah, man, situationships suck. They do not benefit anybody. They are not fun. They are bad. And they just end up with bitter things. And I'll say one thing, it's crazy, because if you would just, if you would have met someone at a different time, then things could have been different. But life plays out the way it does for random reasons. It's always to teach you a lesson. It's always to give you some type of energy or some type of new knowledge moving forward. And that's all I can do. Continue to move forward.
That is my story on situationships, though. They are very tumultuous, very risky. You're just putting your emotions out there on a string and just hoping that you don't get hurt too bad, really. And that's the best way I can put it. I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend always have clarity in what you're doing. Don't just jump into something with no real idea on what the end game of it is, because every relationship in your life should have some real meaning to it, and it should be valued equally. No one should be trying harder than the other person. It shouldn't ever feel that way. And if it does, then that means that you got to get away from something. And you have to be okay with not getting clarity on things too. That is a big thing I will say too. You can't always try to think that you're going to understand everything. Sometimes shit just happens. And that is one thing that I learned about that situation. That's one thing I can say about situationships. Y'all just be careful out here, man. I know it's hard out here to find love, and people just be wanting to have somebody at the end of the day. That's really what I be feeling like it is. Like, sometimes people just want to have somebody. But you got to be comfortable being alone. You got to be comfortable doing things by yourself, and you have to be okay if someone isn't on the same wavelength as you. So if someone isn't trying to remain single while just having fun together, then that person might not be for you. And other than that, you really just gotta try to be good people, because that's all you can do. If you put good energy out into the world, you will radiate and have good people come around you. That's one thing I believe. So that's all you can do. But this has been my episode on situationships. I hope y'all have gained a little insight on them, understood what they are a little bit more. Like I said, this has been one that I've wanted to do for a minute. I'm happy to get it out of the way. Finally get all this type of stuff off my chest. Because, it's real interesting when you go through something and you don't know really what it was. And that's really what life is about, and learning. And I do try to say, if I can try to teach y'all something and give y'all a lesson and help y'all avoid having to learn it the hard way, I love to do it. So that's why we here. That's why we doing this.
But thank y'all again for listening. This has been Kinetic Aesthetic. It's your boy Jerm. Peace out.